not. Like, I got the big shit out for you.
Of course, yeah. For the big guns, I like to call them.
Because you're what we call a professional.
I'm a I just professional that like almost knocks over the microphone,
Yeah.
tangled cables. Yeah,
Mhm.
we talk about this a lot on my stream, but how incredibly horrible and primitive my Twitch started. I was just streaming off of like an iPad, and like
Yeah.
I'd play music from like a little like Jambox thing. It was horrendous, but some people people didn't care, I guess. It was okay. We've now we're here. Now we're here. It looks nicer.
Welcome, everybody.
My room does not look like your room, but I do have a fish lamp, which is nice. I don't think you can see that actually in the. I think I have my backgrounds all wrong for you. I need to change this for you so that you can see my fish lamp.
I will say the wallpaper is really good. Like, the tech is
All
really
right.
good these
It's
days.
nice, huh? It's really nice.
Yeah.
There we go. Now you can see my fish lamp.
Oh, that's sick, actually.
Yeah, so I'm not fucking around. Thank you, Thomas,
Wow.
for stopping.
That's how tall is that?
It's pretty tall. I think pretty
That's
tall.
pretty tall.
Yeah, it's
That's that's a technical term.
tall to pretty tall. What is that from Meet
Tall-ish.
the Fuckers? Meet the
Yeah.
Fuckers. He's like, "How's your score?" He's like, "Well to decently, fairly well." Yeah, one of my dudes that always hangs on the stream with us, Ray. He's like, "You need some more vibe in your room, so you need a lava lamp." But what showed up was this. I think at least quadruple the vibe. It got fish in it, so the kids love it too. You know.
Yeah. That is definitely quad vibe.
Yeah, but one day when it falls over, it's not going to be cool at all. There's so much water.
Oh
Oh my god.
yeah.
I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, thank you, Schulte, for following. If I just randomly blurt off random people's names, you know what? Now you
Yep.
know why.
I know.
Yeah, you know the deal. So we have not really spent time together.
Right.
We know each other via really. I was introduced to you and everything you do from Joey.
And I feel like I have to thank you. Like, we as a band have wanted to thank you for so long. You were the first guy to wear one of the very first Dragged Under hats.
Yep.
In like, you did some photos with the hat on, and we could not believe it. We thought we'd made it. Like, oh, well, we made it now.
I hate to tell you, it's not worth as much as you'd think.
But it was worth something.
Yeah.
And you, behind the scenes, on your own accord, went to everyone that you could, and you were showing them our music.
Yes.
Because you were just stoked on us, and so for that, thank you so much, man.
Of course, I feel like it's a real recognized real moment. Like I got turned on to your band from Joey and was like, "Well, this band is fucking great," and like he would obviously talk you guys up, and then I was like, "Okay, it was kind of go time." Like you had new music, all stuff, and one of the people that was awesome was Jose from Octane. And I hit him up one time and I was like, yo, because I hit him up about you guys because I saw something about it. Maybe you guys posted about that you were going to be on Test Drive.
Yeah.
And I hit him up. I was like, yo, these are homies. Like, definitely check them out. They're fucking awesome. He's like, oh, fuck, I'm literally about to do my show right now. Like, give me a couple facts. So like when he announced you, he like full on had like a whole spiel because he just had like facts that I sent you guys. And he was like, text me, he's like, yo, the band's sick. Like he like full on paid attention. But I hear you guys all the time on Octane now.
Well, we have you are responsible, at least in part, for that. So thank you so much, dude.
No problem.
Really, really appreciate it. Also, thanks for the sick music over the years. For me personally, I'm such a huge fan of all of the bands that you have done.
Oh yeah.
Maybe later I'll tell you my California story.
Yes, it's got to happen.
About the curse and all this stuff. But anyway,
yeah, we'll get
thank you so much for having me on. Okay,
cool. Of course, I'm super stoked to have you. So if anyone is here that is on my stream that is not familiar, to call you Ryan or to call you Fluff?
Everyone calls me Fluff.
I'm gonna go with Fluff. I like it. So Fluff is in a great band called Dragged Under, which we were just talking about. If you haven't heard them, you need to check them out immediately. Fucking awesome. Like,
thank you.
It's like punk, but it's heavy, but it's got super good energy. That like it fucking rips. There's not tons of new bands that I'm excited about. You guys are most definitely one of them. And then I would say, at least not for long, I would think, but perhaps more known for Riffs and Beards, your YouTube channel, which is fucking enormous. Which is funny because when I remember when Joey first told me about you guys, I was then talking to about you guys to the other guys in Atreyu, and Travis was like, Dan's not really like a gear dude, like he just kind of rips and that's where it
Yeah,
ends. He's like, cool, I plug in the thing and rip. I think that's as far as it goes. Travis is more like the gear guy. He's like, oh, dude, like he's like, I've been watching that dude's YouTube channel for like a long time. Like he's fucking massive. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool as shit. How did you get started with your YouTube channel? How did that all kind of like start to grow? Because I feel like a lot of times a lot of YouTube dudes start the other way around. Maybe it's a dude in a band or a known producer or
sure.
something that has like
Yeah.
the foot in the door.
Um, for me, it was I did it as a hobby. So I was a full tilt office cubicle Boeing guy.
Okay.
Uh, Starting in 2007, I was on the quality side, and by the time I worked my way up into getting my own office and the whole setup, that was about 2015, and I'd done it for a few years, as a side hobby, just
Y-
as a side hustle because I love recording. It was just an opportunity to learn and teach myself how to record at home, but also
Sure.
do video stuff. Um, I had learned how to do video stuff way back prior in 2005 when I was homeless in California editing porn professionally.
Sick. We'll get to that story.
We'll get to that story. But I figured, well, I can pick it back up. It's like riding a bike. So I started doing these videos part time, and then 2015, I got fired from Boeing because I bought some socks on Amazon outside of my lunch hour, and they considered that stealing. I was stealing time because I was on some government projects, and
How long does it
they
take to buy
basically
socks? I mean, that's not a long time to steal.
it wasn't a long time, but someone complained, and that was why I there was a full tilt investigation. They found no wrongdoing on my part except for I was surfing the web outside of my lunch break at 3 o'clock in the morning when there was nothing to do,
Did
and
you
they
have
and they let me go.
did you have the opportunity to punch that person in the face?
I wanted to, but he got his comeuppance. It was another manager on another on an. It wasn't even my manager. It was another manager who just decided he didn't like me.
Right. What the fuck?
So so he ordered an investigation into what I was doing and my goings on. So they did a whole deep dive. He was like basically accusing me of like espionage and shit. Um,
For buying
yeah,
socks at work.
well, that's what they ended up finding. But to trigger it, he's like, oh, I suspect he's, maybe selling blueprints or something like that or whatever.
Wow.
So I get fired. But 3 weeks prior, my now ex-wife had started sleeping with her boss. So I had just so divorce proceedings had just started for me,
And then you
and
got
then
fired.
and then I got fired, and basically in a blink of an eye, I was in an empty house. I kept the house. She took the car.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
It's a good deal.
I was in a house, yeah, with a couple of dogs. I had a mortgage payment, and I was just like, okay, well, if I'm gonna fail at life, I'm gonna fail at something I really want to fucking do
Yeah.
instead of something I don't want to do. So I cashed out my retirement with Boeing,
Uh-huh.
and at that time I think it was like $50,000, but the early withdrawal penalties, I ended up getting like $28,000.
Yeah.
Uh, and I lived off of that $28,000 for a year while I basically did YouTube full time. And me and Jared Dine started a band, and I just started doing videos full time.
That's fucking crazy. So, did you already know Jared?
I
Like
did
from
know
before?
Jared. Yeah, I knew Jared before he was on YouTube, and he was running his own home recording studio, what turned out to be like a mile from my house where I lived at the time.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. And so I used to go over there and kind of hang out while other bands were like tracking records and whatever. Um, and then he would call me up and ask me like how AdSense worked and like how to shoot a video and all this stuff. So it
That's
was it
fucking
was cool.
crazy. That's
Yeah,
insane. What an insane like I mean, I feel like that course of events is definitely the time in anyone's life where they're like, fuck it. I'm just gonna do something
dude.
totally different. But like
Yes.
a lot of time I feel like those different like hairball things are like usually work out because you just
You
dump
know what?
everything into it.
That's all I had. I
Yeah.
literally had overnight. I felt like I had nothing, but I had some guitars, and I had the stuff that I was already doing.
Yeah.
So I would spend, and it still is a problem today because that was the time period I I learned how to work to death, and
Yeah,
it was a literal. I am not going to eat unless I do the sponsored video that I don't really want to do. Um, so I would work from basically I'd get up at like 10 or 11 in the afternoon and work till 4 or 5 in the morning every day.
crazy.
I had
Just
nothing.
making videos. And
Yep.
at the beginning, is it all just like you said, sponsored videos? Like, is this like people sending you shit to like
Mm.
like talk about their gear?
Yeah, so I mean we can get it grew, but at that time I had this would have been July of 2015. I had 75,000 subs ish, and I was charging like if they wanted to do a sponsored video, I could get about $500 a video.
Yeah,
So, and and I was like, okay, well let's just do a sponsored video,
yeah,
and but that wasn't the regular. That wasn't the norm. The norm was just the straight AdSense.
yeah.
So it was just content and the amount of videos I was putting out is what would determine if I was able to make my mortgage or not.
That's fucking
So
crazy. Because you were at that point, you're probably averaging a certain amount of views per video. Just like it's like
mhm.
you're just doing the math at that point.
Yes, exactly. So I was averaging 5,000 views a video or something like that, and I was just scared and working.
That's crazy. That's insane to think that
It's
like
horrible.
you never. I mean, because it's funny because we could have a lot more discussion off stream, but like about just about the inner workings of like a YouTube channel, like of growing a YouTube channel, because I'm an idiot when it comes to those things. Like I just started my YouTube channel literally like this last year, and I was like, I'll start posting like some drum videos or something, and like
Should.
it's small as fuck, but like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It's just like Twitch. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. There's like Ford and Annie and my friend Kevin that like tell me what to do to do, and then I'm just like I don't
Right.
know. So it's just all
But
learning.
that's the difference though between someone who's going to do it and have the longevity and someone who's just going to quit and give up. I love the people that give up
Oh, it's great.
because uh if the second you accept that it's just going to be shitty initially,
Yeah,
but you know it's going to get better, you're totally free to just be you and do
for
what you're
sure.
going to do. My early videos fucking sucked. They
Straight
were,
up.
they were
I love that
horrible.
though. It's funny we were talking about earlier about like starting stream. Like Matt Heafy was someone who the dude who got me into streaming. First
Homie.
it was this dude Biggie first who was a
Mhm.
manager I've known for years. Do you know Biggie?
Yep.
He managed like Circa and all these bands.
Yeah, yeah.
I was doing like when the pandemic started, I was doing like acoustic sets on Instagram. And he's like,
Mhm.
"What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Get on Twitch. Like do what you're doing but on Twitch. Like you can make an actual thing and like it could be a good platform for you." I was like, "Okay." So I hit up Matt cuz I knew he was been on Twitch for years already. And
Yeah.
when he was doing it, I just didn't understand. I was like, "I don't know what the fuck this is." So he was like, "Just start streaming." I'm like, "I don't have anything. My computer sucks. Like I don't have a webcam. I don't have anything." He's like, "Do you have an iPad or even your phone? Just stream on your phone." He's like, "It doesn't matter." He's like, "Just start.
Doesn't
Like,
matter.
just start and be consistent. Like, whether it's twice a week or 4 times a week, whatever, just be consistent, get on Twitch and go." So I did, but all my first streams is fucking horrible, dude. It looks so dumb. At the end of every stream, my iPad would fall over because I would go to like push the button. It was like my closing card. Like every fucking time. Just like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. Like the thing would fall. Oh, sorry. But it's funny. Like I love looking back at those now. Like you look at the fucking videos now and you're like, God, I mean, it's cool. You got to start somewhere. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, I just went on a bit of a tangent. But no, I think that's insane to like to be in like the YouTube space and kind of like being able to at least be at a spot when you started to like almost like I said like do the math. I need to put out X amount of videos per month to like make this much money.
Yes, and I'd been doing it. So I started actually my 10-year anniversary for my channel is in like 2 months. Someone pointed out the other day
Awesome.
for my first video. Um, at that point, it had grown to the enough so I was actually working in the industry. So I was just hustling. I was artist rep for Evertune Guitar Bridges.
Yep.
I was a customer service rep for Positive Grid guitar software, like
Yeah.
on your mobile phone. And then I was also the artist rep for Two Notes Audio Engineering, who make load boxes, so you don't have to use a guitar cabinet with your tube amp.
Okay.
So, so I was like, I was going from, oh my god, I have to make more videos. And then I was also in the mornings having conference calls with Two Notes about, Gojira needs units in fucking for their tour in Australia. And then I have to get on a phone call with Robin from Nine Inch Nails about our fucking new pedal. And
Fucking crazy.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
But I had nothing else to do. What the fuck was I gonna do? Like my life was just like done, I thought.
Yeah.
So that was all.
That has to be a good feeling though, to go from what probably feels like complete defeat, like wife gone, job gone, to immediately being like, I'm super busy. My YouTube channel is actually working. And now I have all this other shit. Like, it's not like you were sitting around like trying to find shit to do and it wasn't working. Like, you were stacked up. Like,
Yeah.
that'll definitely keep you occupied, and definitely I think would be a little bit of a mood boost in that kind of headspace that you were probably in.
Yeah, and then along with that, like, we're all raised to like, you have a 9 to 5, you come home, you eat dinner, you watch TV, you go to bed, and then
Yep.
you repeat.
Yeah.
And I had come from that world. And so it was such a mind fuck to be like, well, I'm gonna get up and I guess I'll have a cup of coffee now. Like I
Yeah.
don't have to be anywhere or do anything
Yeah.
if I don't want to.
Yeah. Do I want to eat breakfast this morning? Maybe. What time? I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe I want
Yeah,
to
when
watch
are you gonna
TV
get up?
first. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck
when are
if
you
I
gonna get
know.
up? I don't know. Like
Freedom.
it was so weird. I would call my dad, my mom and dad, and just be like, "Am I nuts here? Like, is this can't last.
This isn't a thing, is it?
This isn't a thing, right?" So then fast forward, 6 years later, and like we're buying this house with like my girlfriend, and she's like, "You're gonna continue to make money, right? Like you can afford,
Yeah.
like it's
This
not
house
it's
we're
not gonna
buying,
like, yeah, like it's not gonna the switch isn't gonna get flipped off, is it?" And I'm like, I don't think so, unless
yeah,
I like go on some racist rant or something, like
which I don't plan on.
which I don't plan on. So it should be fine.
That's crazy. That is, it is insane though, to also be in that spot too, where like I feel like YouTube, and even I think Twitch to an extent, like people, once people, you're big enough, and I'm not there yet, but like once you're big enough, people just most more so care about your consistency. If you're consistent and it's like they can depend on you, they'll stay around forever. They'll keep
That's right.
subscribing. They'll keep watching the videos you put out, because it's like, oh, I
That's
can
right.
just, like, I know that, like, it's like you're there for them. You're a part of, like, because I feel like YouTube wasn't for me like what it is for a lot of people. Like, I look at YouTube videos obviously all the time, but like there's such like a culture of gabillions of people that just fucking live on YouTube. And it's like that's all they do, and that's all
Yes.
they do is they have the people they follow, and they check their channels every fucking couple times a week, because that's when they put out videos and all that stuff. And I never came from that, so it's like
Same.
insane to think of that too. But fuck, 10 years you've been going. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I consider it basically since 2015 is when I started doing it full time. So really, the birth of the channel started there. But I was mixing audio for other YouTubers. I did most of the audio for a guy named Rob Scallon, his YouTube
Holy shit!
channel.
Sorry, this dude
Uh,
Restless Mike just dropped 25 subs. Thank you for that.
damn,
Damn, I appreciate you, bro. Restless Mike killing it.
damn,
That's fucking awesome.
that's
Thank
sick.
you. All right, sorry, continue.
No, it's okay. I was mixing audio for other people,
Uh-huh.
and so I initially got my initial ramp because they couldn't afford to pay me, and so then instead, what I worked out is like, well, I was just like, well, just shout me out
Yeah.
in the video. Like, so Rob Scallon is like a huge YouTuber
Uh-huh.
now,
Yeah.
but when we and him met and had a beer at NAM, he had 30,000 subs, and I was just like, oh my god, you're fucking famous, dude. 30,000 subs,
You're
right?
like, whoa.
So I started mixing his audio, and one of the first things I did for him was he did a Banjo Slayer cover he did Raining Blood on banjo,
Yeah.
and it went super fucking viral. Rolling Stone wrote it up. Kerry King loved it,
Yeah.
shouted it out, and like literally overnight. And because he was like, "Hey," as my form of payment, he was like, "Hey, this was mixed by Fluff. Go sub him at the very end of the video, dude."
Oh,
My
that's
shit blew up too.
dope. That is
Yeah,
super fucking cool.
yeah. So that's what initially kind of, and that was when I was still doing it very much as a hobby. So
Wow. So it kind of, you got that little bit of a pop like before
I did.
you're
Yeah.
even full in.
Yes, for sure.
Dude, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
fucking
it was
great.
cool.
You gotta love when those things work. You know what I mean? Like when like the dude gives you the shout and it actually translates. You know,
Dude, it did. And it was that way for a while.
dude, that's
So
fucking awesome. That's fucking
it was cool.
awesome. So at what point did you? At what point does Dragged Under come into the picture? Because you said you started a band with Jared.
Yep. We started a band with Jared, and our I was a guitarist. Jared started out on drums and then became a guitarist. Our other co-guitarist, Anthony, we were in a band called Rest Repose,
Uh-huh.
and we were a total DIY band. It's funny looking back now. We never had help from fucking anybody. No one really liked us that much, but we liked playing
I've been there.
fucking stoner riff and yeah.
Yeah.
But we toured and we did a lot of shit on our own, and we learned so much from that band. And basically, we had Dragged Under came out of, we had booked studio time in February. The tour we were on was in that previous December, and we were opening for a band called I Set to Kill,
Yeah.
and their bassist was temporary fill-in. It was their producers,
Oh,
and
okay.
hanging out, waiting for sound check, and he was like, "We should write some songs, guys. Like, you guys could really, we should change the direction a little bit because our music didn't translate live. We were getting crushed every single night because we were writing like Mastodon riffs, which is one of my favorite bands, but that shit does not work when you're going up against like really, really high energy bands.
For sure. It
So
those bands. It's hard. They're a hard sell until you're big. If you
yes,
somehow get big, then you're like, oh, okay, this is good now. But until then, it's rough.
it's rough. So we had booked, okay, so in February, I want you to fly up. We're going to fly you up. So by the time that February rolled around, the band had completely fell apart. Jared left because he was just like, I fucking hate being in a van. And I have millions and millions of people watching me on YouTube. I'm just going to go ahead and concentrate on that. And that, that was totally understandable.
Of course.
Um, our drummer quit and moved to LA. And so basically it was myself, Anthony, and our bassist, Josh. And so we decided to still use the studio time. And there was a big blizzard. This is literally like exactly 2 years ago, right now. Um, and we basically got snowed into the studio for like 5 days. And we ordered Thai food and energy drinks. And we wrote, we came out of the studio with 4 finished demos of songs that we just loved ourselves.
Yeah.
We didn't have any band, we didn't have anything, we didn't even have a name. And then we started passing around those songs, and which is when you heard us.
Yeah. Because
You
Rest
you
Repose
heard
was,
our demos.
I think that Joe. I mean, when Joey first introduced me to you, that's what it was.
Yes, yes. And then we were like, we don't want to change the name. We've spent all these years built up. We didn't really get the concept that like once you're damaged goods in the industry, you'll never get beyond that, because we used to get looked at as, you know, it's Jared Dines and his band.
Ah.
You know, you're the fucking, oh, it's those 2 bullshit YouTubers. So you're not a, and that's what killed us.
Yeah.
We never went anywhere because of that.
Crazy. Which is funny because fast forward to now, if you guys started the band right now, it would have been like, oh, it's those 2 YouTubers, and you would have had so much, so many feet in so many doors because of that.
Yeah, our first tour, I mean, me and Jared were doing very well for ourselves on YouTube by the time Rest Repose did their first tour, and the promoters would come back and go, "Why the fuck do I care? Like, you're gonna have to like put up an advance, and like we'll give you a door deal, I guess."
Yeah.
And then like they just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Um, so we wrote the songs. We said we didn't want to change the name, and then Joey showed Bert the songs, and he showed you the songs, and then Bert came back and was like, "These guys are fucking great. They should change the name." And we were like, "Yeah, we should definitely change the name. Let's change the name, guys. Let's change the name." Because fucking Bert said we should change the name,
Bert
so
said it. He
we should
knows.
change
He's
the name
been
now.
here. He's been around for a while. He's been around for a
Yeah,
while.
he would know. So we changed the name, and we just decided then, right then and there, to start fresh. And then that was when Joey was just like, "Let me help you."
Yeah.
We were like, "Okay."
I want to get into that too, because how does that perspective of like Joey coming to you and being like, "Hey man, let me help you out." Like how was that conversation? Because at the time, I mean, you guys were really one of the first bands that Joey started managing or like
Yeah,
working with.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
He had done Dead American.
Yeah, you did Dead American. So
Um,
like, what does that what does that conversation come from? Like, how's that conversation from your perspective? Are you like, who
okay.
is this fucking guy?
Well, so I knew Joey just a little bit because I did a video on how to get the Synergy guitar modules to work with a Line 6 Helix and to get the Helix to switch channels on this hardware, essentially.
Yeah,
They were setting up for a tour, and Justin, his tech at the time, called me,
yeah,
and they got in touch through the Synergy folks, through Jeff,
yeah.
who I think is watching. Jeff, what's up, dude?
So
Um, and he was like, uh, Joey from the Used, like, loves your stuff. Like, can he give you a call? And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Like, I mean, I've loved the Used my entire their entire career.
for
Like
sure.
from the moment the first record came out, number one fan. I love them. And
Yeah,
I was like, okay, sure. And we would just nerd out and go on guitar stuff via text, and it was pretty casual.
yeah,
And then so we sent him those tapes, we sent him those songs, and like 3 days later, he was like, "Hey, let me call you." And I was like, "Okay, what's up?" And he was like, "Yo, let me fucking help you guys. Like, I just played these at rehearsal. Bert and Jeff think you guys are fucking. You could actually do some shit if you guys were organized and could actually like, do something with these songs. You
yeah,
guys have these are some great songs." And
yeah.
we're like, "Okay, whatever."
Oh sure, Joey.
Yeah, okay. We've heard that before. And he was right. And so we decided to trust him.
Yeah,
And which is hard because myself and Anthony had come from we did everything in Rest Repose. We did the banking stuff, we did the tax stuff, we did the van repair stuff, we did the gear stuff, we did literally the show was me and Anthony.
yeah, for sure.
And so to let that baby go and to let it kind of walk on its own with the help of your babysitter was a really tough thing looking back.
For sure. I can
Um,
imagine. I can absolutely imagine. It's funny because Joey is that we've always had these discussions where like we had a really, really, really hard time in Hell or High Water. We always had a really hard time. It
mhm.
didn't matter who was managing. It didn't matter what happened. We just always had a fucking tough time. Um, and the shit that we were able to accomplish was awesome, but it was just for fucking because we didn't let up. But it was we'd always have those discussions where it was like we should just fucking manage ourselves. Like no one cares about this shit like we do. Like no one thinks about these things all the time like we do. No one like is like trying to just like open
Yeah.
doors and do things all the time. And we always had those discussions. And he's like, and I remember him being like, I think I'm gonna start managing bands because why don't I put that energy that I feel for my bands into someone else's band? I'm obviously gonna manage bands that I love. That's why I think he's great at it because he doesn't fucking stop. Like,
Dude, he's relentless.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
did you did you ever find with Hell or High Water that they were always trying to like going back to the damaged good things, not
Mhm.
that you guys were damaged goods, but they always want you to be something else. Like were you always the guy from Atreyu in that band?
Yeah, I think that
To promoters and those kinds of folks?
to the point, yes, to the point where we would play like we'd always like as you do route out to tours. You know what I mean? Because tours
Mhm.
never fucking start. So we'd always
Yeah.
like route to wherever we were going. So in our horrible luck, not only would they not start in Southern California, but tours would start in like Maine or like Orlando. So it'd be like, okay, let's go across the entire country, and we had play as many shows as we can book. Now, so we'd always book 3 or 4 shows there, 3 or 4 shows back, and literally, I would say 80% of the shows for the first couple years were us, and then like the 3 or 4 local hardcore bands, like straight up
Yeah.
hardcore bands, and we're like, what? Then the promoter would be like, oh man, like I just saw that it was a dude from Atreyu, so I figured it was a hardcore band. I'm like, what? You didn't even pay attention for like a second, like didn't put anything past that. So that would always be a point. But I think too, because we were fully independent until the last record we did, and I
Oh, I
think
did not know that.
yeah, like Vista's the first thing that had any label involved. There was a label that came around and like licensed the Begin Again album, but they didn't do
Mhm.
fuck all with it. They like illegally tried to put a song to radio that didn't get approved by the guest vocals label, and like all
Ugh,
they fucking hurt us more than they did anything. But so I think because we did everything independent, it was definitely a slow build. And because it was a slow build, that was like a damaged goods things where it was like, oh well, this hasn't popped yet, so like why should I give it a chance? And it was like, well, because we're doing everything ourselves. None of us even had a popular YouTube channel to like try and like
right.
jump on like piggyback, or even like all I had was the fact that I was in Atreyu, but at the time Atreyu was doing nothing, so there was no Atreyu news. There was no current Atreyu shit in the news that would like make my name even relevant at the time. You know what I mean? So it was just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so it was kind of like that definitely was super difficult. But at the very end, like really on Vista was when it like the label got involved, radio happened, streams were better, the video, we had fucking videos, we had budgets, and then we started getting some tours. But even then, it was like we did like 6 months of touring, and then like it just stopped. It was like, oh fuck, it slowed down, and then it was like, okay, that's kind of the cycle, and that's what it is, you know. But
Damn.
so it's definitely a challenge. I always talk about that with bands, like with new bands, how unless you're in like a fucking arena band, and even still, unless you're in like an arena band, maybe then it's not as hard. But starting a new band is like almost the same exact thing as just starting a band if no one knows you. It's like it just doesn't
Dude,
fucking matter. It just doesn't
no.
fucking matter.
No, it's so difficult. Yeah, with Rest Repose, it was always pushing a rock up a hill.
Yeah,
Always, no
for
matter
sure.
what.
Absolutely. And
Um,
I mean, really, towards the end of it too, like it all naturally kind of like seeded out. Like Atreyu was starting to do. We were going to put out another record, so I was going to go do that. And then right at the same time, Joey started playing with the used. And then so like we both kind of had to go that way. And then our Maldi, our other guitar player, got like a fucking big kid job, like designing computer chips for Tesla or some shit,
fuck.
like some ridiculous. We're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, I didn't even realize. So everyone kind of went off the same way. And then now, I mean, full circle. Kyle from Dragged Under plays drums in a tray, or no, from Dragged Under. Kyle from
That American,
That
yeah.
American plays drums in a tray. So it's
The
like
homie.
everyone, yeah, dude, my best friend. But so everything kind of worked out that way. But it's just, for sure was the same thing, like pushing a rock up a hill. Uh, but
That's fascinating.
but fun though. Like I find that shit fun. Like I think that my sort of like tenacity and like my willingness to like be neck deep in mud and not care about it has come from the fact that I just have continually sort of one, Atreyu has always been the band that we've had to just prove ourselves over and over again. Like it doesn't matter. It's like it doesn't matter how many records we sold, how many plaques we have, how many sold out shows we've done. People are always, we're that band where people are just still just like, yeah, but what else? You know, like we've never like
Yeah.
gotten the
Yeah.
easy street card where it's like, yeah, you're good. Like we've been a band for over 20 years and we're still like proving ourselves. But then the fact of like having to start Hell or High Water and do that from the ground up and just like be in a van and be in an RV and like doing things ourselves and fucking slumming, you know what I mean? Like that, I feel like that's been a huge like tool and like gift for me to
Yeah,
not.
I think uh I tell people all the time, it's very, very rarely about how quote unquote good you can play your instrument. It's never ever about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's about it's about if you're going to be on time. Can people rely on you to show up to even play your show?
Yeah.
Can Are you going to give up at the first sign of bullshit when your van breaks down? Are
Mhm.
you, it's that tenacity thing that is key to doing all of this.
Absolutely. This is a prime example. Hell or High Water did Uproar summer. There's like a summer festival. It was our first, really our first tour, and we were second on second stage. We were in an RV that we owned that was we thought was incredible, but we fully destroyed in the first tour. We still drove it for almost another year or a couple years, but like on the way out to the first show, my wife was driving, which she's 5 feet tall and has never driven an RV, so she's just being a trooper and trying to help out. So we're on a highway and the center divider, like someone got an accident, so the center divider dips in and there's like
Hmm.
nowhere to go. So we clipped that with the side of our RV, like it just like dented one of the bay doors, and we had a flat tire in the trailer. Fixed it, keep going. Then Like a few weeks later, our transmission goes out in Texas. We have to miss 2 shows. Our old manager gets on the phone with me and he's like, "Hey, what's your deal? Like, what's the vibe?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, our transmission's blown. We had to order the parts. We're stuck in like Houston or whatever for 2 days, and then we'll get back on the tour. We'll drive once we get the RV fixed. We're gonna drive like 46 hours to make the show, the next show we can." He's like, so his response was, "That means you're gonna miss the Detroit show. That's gonna be a really big show, man." Like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do you have another."
Let me tell the transmission to hurry up.
Yeah, exactly. So like that happens. My wife puts on a whole charade and fake cries saying she's gonna get fired. She's on the phone with management. All this stuff. She ends up saving us like $3,000 on the transmission. But we spend tons of the money that we've already made on the first few weeks of tour. Keep on going. Miss a couple shows, bang. Then Joey runs the RV off the side of the road. We crash and almost die. The entire has he told you that story?
No, but I
Oh,
can't wait to fucking give him shit about it.
it's great. And then like the entire side of the RV's ripped off, the back of the RV's ripped off, the trailer's totally fucked. We make it to that show. It happens at like 6 or 7 in the morning. We make it to that show that day. We play on the one of the other bands that's supposed to go after us. We play on their gear. The whole show. We show up. My wife's like bleeding from like the head, and like she has like a contusion on her hip, and like
God.
yeah, like shit. And we just show up and play the show. We fucking wrap up the bay doors, buy a new trailer. We wrap up the bay doors with like tarps and gorilla tape. Screw the whole back of the RV back on. Go for it. We finished the tour. Like people are like, "What are you doing here? Like what the fuck are you still doing?" And it's like, "What are we just gonna go home? Like that doesn't do anything for us. So we just
And
go
do
home.
what? Yeah.
The wheels still work. It still rolls. Let's do this thing." That shit goes a long way.
That's funny. You're telling me a story about the RV. So we get now. Joey put us in front of the used people for consideration for tour.
Yeah.
And so we got this unbelievable tour with the used.
Yeah.
And that was a big break moment for us.
For sure.
And we were the only band, we were the only support band. And by the time, so we start in California. And so anyway, by the time we get to New York, there's like 12 labels at the fucking New York gig to see
awesome.
us.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, right? Anyway, I asked Jeffa, I was like, "Do you have any advice for me?" And he goes, "Don't ever tour in an RV because they're made to park. They're not made to drive across the country. The used found this out the hard way our first 2 tours." And I was like, huh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, they are made to park, not drive.
They're not put together well.
No matter
all.
how good of one you get. He's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're not like, it's not a tour bus. It's
yeah,
not the
and
same.
I was like, huh, okay, thanks, man.
Yeah, we just came from like B SALL in Busville, and I'm like, yeah, let's get an RV. And my mom's like friend was selling there, so me and Joey flew to New Mexico, where my mom was living at the time. Drove the RV home, built like the bunks in the back, did the whole shebang. But by the end of it, like we had to like screw the whole back panel on twice because like Kyle backed up in like a KOA. We were dumping our piss tank and like hit a pole, ripped the back off. So it was literally like screwed on. The bumper was made of wood. Like Joey's dad made a bumper out of wood, like a pirate ship at the end. The bay doors were wood. Like it was ridiculous. That thing was a fucking nightmare. But hey, we had some good times. We had a good place to sleep. And fucking my wife at the time, well, she's still my wife, but at the time she was tour managing us. And she would like, we'd go in, we'd load in whatever, set up merch, and like we'd be in doing our thing, and then that would be her time to like, she'd like vacuum the RV, vacuum the carpets, like wipe everything down, like put the carpet fresh down, put people's like socks and bullshit in their bunks, and then like we'd come back from sound check and there'd be like candles lit and like a cheese played out and just like we'd have like freaking cocktail hour post sound check. It was a beautiful time. We could not have done that if we didn't have the RV. So I'm happy about all of that.
Wow.
Happy about all that. Yeah. If you ever you come across to a really crucial wife, just get her out on the road. The shit will improve vastly.
All right. Good tips. Pro tips.
Pro tips. Pro tips.
Pro tip.
Fucking awesome. So what? Let's get. Oh, I want to get into your homeless in California story.
Oh yeah. Okay.
To jump pages.
So my band at the time. Okay, dude, I've had some crazy shit happen to me in my life.
It doesn't sound like it so far.
My oh, just wait. I'm going to
I'm
tell you right
just
now.
kidding.
And I'm going to make light.
Good.
I'm
Yeah,
not making light.
that's
I'm going to Okay, so up here I was in a band.
yeah.
We were called As Fate Would Have It.
Okay.
And got to play. We won a contest, a local contest for the first year of Taste of Chaos.
Okay.
We won the contest and we got to play the main stage with My Chemical Romance, who are on the Three Cheers tour cycle,
It was the used too,
Killswitch
wasn't it?
Engage, and the Used,
Yeah.
and a totally fucking unknown Seosin. They had jumped on the night before, and they had just signed a Capitol, and there was no record out yet. I mean,
Yeah.
Translating the Name was out, but no one with Cove, nothing with Cove.
Yeah.
And they crushed everybody.
They were fucking, they had some heat for sure.
Dude. So anyway, our guitarist basically has, I'm gonna say he has a mental breakdown and he disappears. Like
at
he
the
disappeared.
show?
No, right before the show.
Oh my god.
And he actually wasn't found until like a year ago.
What?
Yeah, he actually he went. Okay, this is gonna get real dark here for a second.
Oh, what? I wasn't. Yeah, do tell.
Okay. Things got intense up here because my dear friend, my roommate, and my co-guitarist Brian, basically had a breakdown. He was having a hard time with being adopted, and his fiance was cheating on him, and he basically walked away. And he cashed his paycheck. He left all the money on his bed. He took a bunch of pills, and he took a walk, and we never saw him again. Right?
What the hell?
Discovery Channel makes a fucking episode of Disappeared about us. Yeah.
Wait,
Huffington Post.
How many days before this show was this?
This was okay. So by the time the show rolls around, he had just decided to stay home. Or no, dude, it's been so long. This is 2005.
Yeah.
So I think he had disappeared like 2 days before, and we thought he's just gonna go off, and he's having a hard time.
Yeah.
And so, we didn't think too much of it by the time we played the Taste of Chaos show.
Yeah.
And then it becomes apparent, like, oh, he's like actually like missing.
Yeah.
And so, we look for him. We spend literally like the next several weeks looking for him in the forests of Federal Way, Washington. And the cops come out. I mean, cadaver dogs are at a rehearsal space. His parents are accusing me and the other guitarist of killing him. I have to take 3 lie detector tests. Crazy as shit. So we decide to get out of town, and we have an opportunity to cut a record down at Sound City.
Yeah.
In Van Nuys. So we move. We just basically up and move. Now, in retrospect, that wasn't a great idea, but I was 25, and
it's not a great look at the time.
It wasn't a great look.
For what
I was cleared.
Accused of. Oh, you were cleared.
I was like, we weren't directly accused, but everyone was being investigated, and it was so sad and heartbreaking. And I fucking loved Brian, and they actually found his body like a year ago, right by our apartment. He basically went into some heavily wooded area that you could never ever get to. Took a bunch of pills and overdosed and killed himself.
And has been there for years.
10 years. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it was near a church, and some of the churchgoers were clearing some brush and came upon his body, still wearing the clothes that he was last seen in.
That is insane.
So the Discovery Channel made an episode of Disappeared about it. I used to have, fucking Huffington Post calling me all the time, producers wanting to get my story. It was the craziest shit.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
So we moved down to Los Angeles, and our new singer that our bass player is friends with, Ed was kind of in the porn world. Like, he was shooting porn, and he would edit, and he needed an editor. And so we continue to do the band. We're not really doing the band because we're just basically trying to survive.
Yeah.
We end up living out of our practice space, right by Cleartone Strings. Actually, it's actually 1 street over from where the Cleartone String Factory is, which is so wild. It's in this shitty ass rehearsal space. We had 1 toilet. We were eating every couple of days. We had basically have to steal food to eat and showering every couple of weeks. but we had just enough money, so I would edit porn for Red Light District and Leisure Time and all the big companies. I worked with Manuel Ferreira and all these guys, and we would edit porn. That back in those days, those were tapes,
Yeah.
and I would spend 3 days putting together a DVD with extras, and that would pay. They would cut us a check for like $1,500 per video. It
What the fuck?
was crazy.
So wait,
Um,
so how many of you guys are living in this practice space?
six people.
And there's obviously just a toilet, like a communal toilet, I'm assuming, at this
A
practice space?
communal toilet at the very end of the hallway with a single light bulb, and these practice spaces were just single rooms, you know,
Yeah.
just a single room with
Yeah.
we put a couch, and we would sleep on the floor.
That is, how long did this last for?
About a year.
A year. And when you're saying you're eating every couple of days, like, is
Yeah.
that real? Like, okay, we have enough
Yeah.
money, we're gonna get like some freaking hot and readies and go for it, and then we don't eat for a
Yeah,
couple
so
days.
there was a diner. I'm going way off tangent here, but it's okay, it's
No,
relevant.
I like this.
There was a diner a couple of blocks away,
Uh-huh.
and we would take turns dining and dashing because we had to,
Yeah.
right? Years later, after the YouTube thing happened, like 4 years ago, I went back down to that diner, and like the waitress used to run out after us and be like, "They're gonna take that out of my paycheck," and I always felt so bad.
Yeah.
And about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was down there for NAM, I actually went to and found that diner, and the old waitress that was there, waited on us, and I left her like $100 tip, and I just like, I was like, "I'm so sorry. This has nothing to do with you, but like,
Yeah.
I just have to do this." Like, I wrote her a note just saying like, "I have to make this right."
Yeah,
And
that's fucking crazy. So that it wasn't even that you were buying food every few days. It was just like you'd go to the diner and like dine and
Mhm.
ditch, and that was what you could do.
that was what we could do. It was
That's
fucking
fucking insane. Were the other dudes in the band working too?
no. They were all blowing it on coke when the money that I was getting. Yeah.
What the fuck? So wait, you're busting your ass editing porn, making like
Mhm.
$1,500 a video. That's essentially probably paying for your rehearsal space.
Yeah.
Right. And then whatever else little bit you can have left over, and they're just blasting coke on it on the same budget.
Yeah, because the checks were made out to our singer because he's the one that actually knew all the people. So I was just doing the work.
Yeah.
And anyway, we did start out in an apartment, his original apartment. We did start out in
Yeah.
for the first few months we were down there.
Dude,
So
that
anyway,
is crazy.
it was fucking nuts.
That's fucking unreal.
And so we would do that, and then basically by the time the band actually decided to split up, so we were also paying for the record at Sound City. So we did track a record.
Oh, during this
And
time.
yeah, during this whole time, we were basically putting
Uh-huh.
all the money into the band as well. So we had half off the rate at Sound City, which at that time for us in 2005 was $1,500 a day for
A
8 hours.
day.
That was half the normal rate.
Jesus Christ.
It was unbelievable. I don't even have that record. Like, I don't even know what happened to
Did
it.
it occur to you at any point to be like, maybe we should just make a record somewhere else?
That wasn't an option in 2005. Like, we didn't know anybody, and they would work with us because our singer had repaired their computers.
So,
And
like,
so
were you consistent in the studio, or to be like, okay, we have enough money, let's go in for a day, and then let's go in for another day?
yeah, it would be sporadic just as we could afford it. And like 3 days grace was in the next room over cutting a record at the time. And like, it was crazy. And like, we saw what would become Steel Panther. They were middle school at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Play a private party for the porn company, the Red Light District.
What the fuck? Dude, that
Dude,
is insane. What the fuck?
it was crazy.
What the fuck is it like editing porn? It's got to be the weirdest thing ever. 'Cause what are you
So
focusing
actually,
on? What are you focusing on here? Like,
so
what's the method?
So what I would do, so like some of the companies would have specific requests, like Leisure Time. The owner of Leisure Time, hated the sound of a woman's ass getting slapped.
Do
Right?
some Foley.
No, so we had to remove the slap. Yeah, we had to remove the sound of the slap. You could visually see it, and
You should please tell me you just edit in other sounds, like a duck sound.
yeah, like a tree branch or like a leaf.
Yeah. Like a squeaky door.
So I figured out how, and I actually ended up being pretty good at it. I was pretty good at the video editing thing and the audio editing
You
thing,
need a guy that can edit out ass slaps seamlessly. I'm your fucking guy.
seamlessly.
I'm your guy.
Yeah. So, um, so that was what I did basically in California. But what I would do in order to cut the initial footage, the ins and outs,
Yeah.
and all that stuff, the only CD I owned in 2005 was The Curse.
Oh man. So you
So 3 o'clock in the morning, everyone's middle of the night because I slept during the day. So I didn't actually. There was a point where I didn't see sunlight for like 6 months. It was fucking weird,
super good for
right?
your brain, I'm sure.
Super good. It's very, very healthy. Lots of energy drinks.
Yeah.
And I would put on because you don't need to hear anything when you're cutting the basic footage of the cuts.
Yeah.
You're just scrubbing through all the bullshit and okay, the scene starts here because back then they would just hit record and then it would just go.
And you have to
So
edit together like some sort of
yes, so you just have to sit there and fucking watch all of it every single second, and just in case, whatever. So I would put on The Curse, and it would sit there and just repeat
oh
for
my god.
4, 5, 6 hours every single night for about a year for me.
So you know that
And that,
record like the back of your hand.
dude, I swear to God, I probably know that record better than you do.
Most likely.
Like,
I would bet that.
dude, it was I could do the cues, and then I would put it in shuffle, and then I would play it backwards, and then I would just like I was literally the only CD I fucking had.
This dude in my chat's like, wait, no sunlight, the curse. Like this dude is a vampire. You were living the life,
right?
dude. You were living the
Right?
life. The undead.
I know. I'm sitting there editing porn, going, God, I really should get into Anne Rice again. Fuck,
That is fucking crazy. How do you not hate my band at this point?
dude. I love your band.
Can you still listen to the curse to this day and be like, all right,
Yes.
I fuck with this.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, if I hear specifically the Crimson,
Mm-hmm.
because we also had, I can't remember. I think it was on a sampler. The video came as
Yeah.
part of like a Victory
Yeah.
DVD or something like that.
Yeah.
We were friends with the guys in Aiden at the time,
Okay.
and so they would kind of send us like sampler packs sometimes, and we would watch the Crimson video
Yeah.
over and over again. So the second I hear that guitar, I am instantly transformed. It's a fucking time machine for me. I am instantly back in Van Nuys at the desk, at the fucking. I'm in the master bedroom. I
Yeah.
can hear the music down below.
Editing
Like,
out ass slaps.
yes, I am instantly back in that seat in that computer when I hear that song. It's unbelievable.
Dude, that is funny as shit. That's fucking dude, wow, what a fucking story. You have
Yeah,
fucking
and
you have lived.
dude, there's other stories. I could tell you lots of porn related stories, but not online, off camera.
Off camera.
Off camera, I'll tell you.
Oh god, I can only imagine the shit that's on the cutting room floor of
Dude.
of porn editing.
Ah,
Like, well, gotta cut that out for sure.
yep,
Yep. Oops, oopsie poopsies.
yeah,
All kinds of fun stuff.
all sorts of stuff. But fast forward, many many years later, and I was like, oh, I can do YouTube videos. I'm sure I can pick that back up.
Yeah,
And
it
that's
can't be that different.
no, and I'm still utilizing those skills today. So thanks, porn.
Seriously, I mean, where would you have been if you had not done all of those things? You know what I mean?
Dude, I wouldn't have never ever thought to start a YouTube channel if I hadn't done that, for sure.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That is absolutely insane. I think the last guest I had that really got into like some history and this and that was Jacoby from Papa Roach. But you have given us some of the best and most insane history lessons of your life. It is fucking awesome. It is fucking awesome. Prime stuff right here.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, that's amazing. So with the YouTube channel, like how often are you putting up videos?
It depends on if there's a sponsored thing that needs to be scheduled, but typically a slow week for me is like 3 videos a week.
Oh, okay. Slow.
So that's a slow week for me. 3 videos. I don't think I've released less than 3 videos a week in, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
It's crazy. And there's just, I mean, I guess gear and shit is just endless. Like
It is endless. I'm
I,
trying to get away from just gear stuff, so I've started to much success, thank God. I've started doing other kind of offshoot series. Like I do these videos called "Way to Roast My Rig,"
yeah,
and people send in their rigs, and I fucking roast them and make
that's
fun of them,
great. That's
and they
great.
love them. And then I do basically the same thing with this new series called "Ridiculous Reverb Listings," which you go on Reverb.com, which for non-musicians is like the eBay for musical gear.
Yeah.
And I ask people for ridiculous listings, and I fucking roast these fuckers to much to much controversy sometimes. Yesterday, one of the newest one just came out 2 days ago, and one of those listings is for an Evanescence played guitar, and the dude wants $72,000 for it, right?
$72,000.
For an LTD ESP guitar. It's not, and I'll preface this, and I'll emphasize that it's not the dude in Evanescence that's selling it. It's someone else
But he swears she
who's.
played it. She definitely did.
And I was like, I've never fucking heard of this John fucking, who the fuck is this? He was the original touring guitar player from 2002 to 2007.
Oh.
And he commented on the video, like, you never know who's watching. He was like, yeah, hi, I'm the guy you've never heard of. I was like, oh shit.
He's all, now you
Hi.
have. Now you have.
Yeah. It's like, oh damn.
That's
Hey
great.
man.
That's fucking great. What a
So
fucking idiot. That's awesome, dude. Our guitar tech, Dakota, he has he has like a thing on Instagram. I think it's called Dakota's Cool Guitars. But he's like a full on, he like knows the ins and outs of like the pawn shop world. And like we'll usually
oh
buy like 3 to 5 guitars every tour. And like just like is insane with knowledge, like being knowledgeable about literally everything. And he's that dude that's like brokered, like he brokers like 6-figure guitar deals, and like
yeah.
just like ridiculous stuff. Like, oh, like this Strat was painted only in this year and it was a mess up because the paint they got from the freaking body shop down the street on this month of this year was a different tone of
Yeah.
fucking turquoise, whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's that guy. But I feel like someone like that could be funny because like would have so much knowledge on even just on the roasting side too, because he knows every fact about every guitar. Like it's like a, yeah, like he knows exactly what everything's worth. Like there's it's endless.
Love that.
It's
Yeah, I
so
should probably
fun.
have him on the show then.
He actually started. He's like the guitar dude at Sonic Ranch now. He like lives at Sonic Ranch
Oh wow.
and is just like guitar techs their records and keeps their gear upkeep, which
Dude, that
is,
sounds like an amazing job.
yeah, he would fly out to do it like a few times a year because he's like
Hmm.
you know, friendly with the dude from the owner, Tony. um and during the pandemic it was just like, why don't you just come out here and work on the records and just stay, that way you don't have to like travel, and I know you're not touring, so here, you, this could be your job now. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's tight as fuck. Thank you.
That is fucking sick.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. This has been super fun to chat with you. Like I love I love doing this show because a lot of people I hang with are like my friends, so I get to see them and chat with and catch up, which I don't get to a lot these days. But even further than that, people that I like don't know well, like today is awesome to just really get down and deep into the backstory, you know?
Yeah, and these kinds of things, like, I've never ever spoken about, like, the porn thing. I've mentioned on podcasts before, but
Yeah.
like I have never mentioned any of that on my actual channel.
Dude,
Like I literally had to tell the daughter, my daughter, I have a 19-year-old daughter,
uh,
and she just found out like a year ago.
that's she's like, Dad, so
Well, I
what?
figured like she's gonna hear about it eventually, but no, it was there was a song, there was a hip hop song, and they mentioned Mia Khalifa
Uh-huh.
or something like that. And she was like, "You probably have no idea who that is." And I was like, "You know what, honey? I think it's time. Me and your mom have been hiding this. I think it's time we had a conversation. I think you're old enough now."
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
I told her what happened in California.
So your daughter's 19.
She's 19,
So you had her very young.
very young. When I was in California, she was 6.
That's crazy.
It was horrible.
I have I have a 4-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. What is what do I do?
Um,
At what age am I going to be like, holy shit?
I mean, you have You have about 5 years to go, buddy.
Yeah, before
Yeah,
they really turn into actual girls.
like when you think like, oh, okay, this is as bad as it's gonna get. That's when you know you've just started
Yeah.
the process.
And that's probably 9, 10. You said like around there.
Yeah, about 10, you start going, well, oh shit,
Yeah.
oh shit,
What
and
the
then by the
fuck?
time it's 13, when she's 13, you're fucked. She literally hates you
Yeah.
until she's about 20.
That's what. See, my wife's like, oh no, when she's a teenager, she's gonna hate me. I'm like, I think she's probably gonna hate both of us.
She's gonna pick one for sure, but
Uh,
like the amount of things that happen like at school with kids these days, the things that they have to deal with are things that you and I don't think ever dealt with. Like, you know, she tells stories of like, and she was at a really good school, walking into the bathroom and there's a fucking drug deal going down. There's pills being chopped up over there, and then there's someone, you know, getting robbed in the stall next to her, and she's just trying to take a leak. Like,
what the fuck?
yeah, like all sorts of stuff daily. Dude, there was all sorts of shit happening on all sorts of schools, but the amount of mental bullshit that they have to go through that they do to each other is insane.
Like, it's was child's play when we were growing up.
Yeah, I mean, you would say mean things to each other
Of
and stuff,
course.
but
Yeah. It's high school.
but but the things like there are groups of girls. I mean, I'm talking about girls specifically.
Yeah.
You know, she would know girls that would get together and then decide we're going to give her an eating disorder in about a month. So let's go out. Okay, so when you walk by, you say, "Oh, you're looking fat," and then when you walk by, like real calculated, just
Are you
bullshit,
fucking serious?
dude. The things, dude. Here's a story. We had someone decide that they hated her, my daughter,
Yeah.
so they fucking called the suicide hotline posing as my daughter. And I had at 4 o'clock in the goddamn morning, I basically had the SWAT team at my fucking door.
Because
I'm
they
like,
thought she was suicidal at your in your house.
yeah, because she called and was like, I'm gonna fucking slit my wrist right now, and then hung up. And
What the fuck? Who
so
thinks that's okay? Who
because
raised
she
these
talked
people?
because she talked to someone's man, or you know, was whatever.
Girls are
That's
fucking crazy.
that's the kind of shit that you have to look forward to, my friend.
The only thing I would ever even imagine doing is like, I remember back in the day, people used to like fake bomb threats so that we didn't have to go to school.
And that was even pretty extreme then.
That's pretty fucking extreme. But like at the same time, you're not fucking over one person. Like, Jesus, who raised those horrible girls that were like, yeah, this is fine, I think.
Dude, I don't know, but like I had people knocking down my door, like going, "Yo, where's your daughter?" She wasn't even here. She was at her mother's house. So I
Oh
had
my
to fucking
God.
call her mom and wake her up and go, "The cops are on their way to your house right now."
Yeah, like, is she okay? What is
Yeah, because she
this?
was on my phone plan, so the phone number registered to my house.
Oh my God. So that's fucking crazy. And obviously you're probably horrified because you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right. So
You
I'm
don't
just
know
like,
if she made
where
that call.
I'm flipping out. I call her mom. Me and her mom split up when she was like 1, and we're very close, and we're still
Yeah.
super cool. And I call her mom, and I'm like, "Where is our daughter?" And she's like, I'm looking at her. She's asleep. What's up? And I was like,
Jesus.
the cops are coming. The cops are coming.
So how did you then later, did you find out who did it?
Nope.
Did she ever find out?
Nope.
Someone just thought that was funny.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm horrified.
So anyway, good luck, man. You'll be all right.
No, it's gonna be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
So the hardest thing I have now is my 2.5-year-old responds to shit with never, and it hurts my soul. And I'm like, oh God, you're gonna be rough. Like, all right, let's go, whatever, dude. Let's do so. Never, ever.
My daughter was 14 years old, and the band had been doing stuff. Rest Repose was doing stuff. And I was asked if I wanted to do my own signature guitar with Balaguer, who Travis is now with, right? Yeah. I tell my daughter, I'm like, hey, you know, Dad's gonna get, you know, a production. I explained to her what a signature guitar is, and no shit, dead ass. She goes, why do you get one of those and not Jared?
Oh, and not Jared.
And not Jared.
Oh, that
dead
digs
ass.
Deep. That digs deep because not only you've been dealing with that in the band already.
Right.
like Jared's band, this and that, that whole thing that you talked about earlier. But your daughter, that's down to your core.
It's just like, fuck.
You're like, cause you're fucking grounded. That's why.
Right. Right.
Cause you don't have a cell phone anymore. That's why.
You're no longer my favorite daughter. I'm your only daughter. Are you?
Yeah. Are you now? What do you know really? You don't know that I did porn, but I'll tell you in 5 years, or edited porn. What do you even know? God, that's crazy. Yeah, we always joke about the fact that I don't think my kids are going to think what I do is cool at all.
You know what? It's funny. They don't.
Yeah.
Real talk. Just like my daughter's just like, whatever. And then her friends are like, can you ask your dad a question for me? Can you get him to sign something? Or whatever? She's like, shut up.
Have you gotten the thing yet where it's like if any of your daughter's friends know about your relationship to Joey too? Like, do you think that I'm gonna just like tickets to you, Joe?
Oh, dude. Yeah. When we were on tour, it was like, your can you, is it okay? Can you get like a picture or like,
That's awesome. See, I always have I have this great example, and I don't know them personally, but Toby from that sings in the band H2O. His kid is like 16 or maybe he's 18, 17, I don't know.
Yeah,
but I've watched that kid grow up. Like I saw H2O in like Chain Reaction like 10 years ago, and he was like a 6-year-old with a mohawk that was giving away his blow up toys from the summer because he didn't need them anymore at the show. And like would always get like stage dive at the shows, and like I was like, that's fucking cool. When I have kids, I want that. And now he's like, he like plays drums and he's in a band. He'll go on tour with H2O and like play drums for like H2O like sometimes, and like it's like super rad, and him and his dad are like clicked up, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. But then I'm like, oh fuck, but I have girls. I don't think they're gonna think what I do is cool.
Nope, they won't.
Yeah. Nope, they absolutely will not. Don't even try to imagine that they will not.
Nope, they might appreciate it someday, but otherwise, although they sure as hell think it's cool when you can get them tickets to something
Something
they want to
like when I can get them like Post Malone tickets or something, they'll be like, sick.
Right. That's exactly what I did. I got his Post Malone tickets, or
that's awesome.
or like the Weeknd's guitarist is an Ernie Ball Music Man guy, as am I.
Yeah.
And we have a few mutual friends. So like if the Weeknd comes to town,
got tickets.
Got tickets.
VIP.
She's like, Dad, I love you. You're so cool.
You're like, but tell me this next week when we don't go to the show. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to this. With double time too. I got 2 girls, so that's gonna be really cool. I would imagine. Hopefully, they'll just do all the same shit at the same time, because my 2.5-year-old is just doing all the things my 4-year-old does, just about 1.5 years early. Like down to like how fast she walked, how fast she talks. Like all of her progression is just at the rate of my 4-year-old. So I'm hoping that they'll at least do it. Just give it all to me at the same time, equally, so that it doesn't come in waves. Just blast me in the head with it.
You know what? I hope it goes that way for you.
You're all. It's not. You're totally fucked, man. Just enjoy it. Just spend the next 5 years to know that you are fucked, and that's the way it's gonna be.
Yeah, just stock up on plenty of wine. You'll be all right.
Oh, we're always stocked. It's all. We don't have that to worry about.
Yeah. All right.
I fell and had this stupid accident last month, or a little over a month ago.
Yeah.
And I destroyed my arm and whatever. And to the wine, my daughter walked into the kitchen and said, "Oh no, Daddy spilled your juice." It was not juice; it was blood. But she's like, "Yeah." So we got the wine on. We got the wine stocked up. We're fine.
Daddy's arm is crying.
Yeah, Daddy spilled your juice. Like, yeah, it's juice. Yeah, like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I can't wait. I can't wait, dude. That's awesome. Well, fuck, man, this has been super rad. I loved hanging with you. Fucking, it's awesome. If Annie, please post. Annie is my incredible mod. She's an awesome person on here. She's been posting your YouTube links the whole time. Can you post the YouTube link again, and then also post a link to the Drag Dunder stuff as well?
Thank you.
Yeah, I will post this on my minuscule YouTube channel afterwards, and I think people will be stoked. This has been really, really fun today. Definitely.
You should then come on my show on my channel.
Okay.
And I interview you.
Oh, I like that.
I got lots of questions.
Tradesies.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
I like it. I'm in. Anytime, any day.
All right. Cool, man. I'll hit
Genius, dude. All right, buddy. Well, everyone say goodbye to Fluff. It's been good, dude.
Thanks, everyone.
I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Later, man.
Take it easy.
See ya.
Full fucking legend. What a fucking great dude. What a great story. Holy shit. So many fucking things.